a major shopping festival is underway in China. The 618 Shopping Day falls on June 18th, but stores and retailers have been holding promotional sales for weeks already. The day was founded by Chinese commerce giant JD.com, but it has since expanded. It is the second largest shopping festival in China after Singles' Day in November. Last year, the 618 festival saw a record spending of more than $100 billion with a B, and retailers have been posting encouraging early sales for this year as well. And artificial intelligence is boosting retail sales in China. AI-powered avatars and assistants are helping consumers by optimizing online operations, enhancing the shopping experience. Retailer JD.com attracted more than 20 million views and generated nearly $8 million in sales in less than an hour after its AI avatar went live. Other e-commerce shops saw huge increases as well. And this all leads us to take a closer look at how China's retail landscape is faring these days. And joining us to give us insight is Einar Tangen. Einar's a senior fellow at the Taihe Institute and is also the chairman of Asia Narratives. Einar, always a pleasure. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you, Sean.
Let's talk about Shopping Day. How do you compare it with other big retail days, for example, in China, like Singles' Day? What does it mean?
Well, it's number two, and it started as one day, and now it's basically a month. I mean, the official start was back on the 20th? No, it started on the 20th. It's supposed to kind of just be 3 weeks. Now it keeps stretching out further and further, but it's definitely one of the big highlights that is out there, and it really is helping in terms, especially in terms of online sales, which have been very, very, very good. First month, 5 months. Total retail has been up 3.7%, 5 months, 4.1%, and out of that, 12.4% up on online sales.
Wow. So, but it's not just only the e-commerce. You talked about that, the robust action there, but also in-person sales. Talk about this combination, what it means, and why you think in-person brick and mortar stores are still doing really well.
Well, people are getting out. I mean, what you have is young people, funnily enough, have changed their patterns, both in terms of what they want to experience. They have this thing called city walk. So they're walking, literally walking around cities. They're not spending as much as they used to. They're not going to the big chains as much as they used to. They are going to smaller shops, and they're really discovering their cities. And along with that, there are interesting things that they're snapping up from small retail stores. I don't know that the big malls have done as well. Online shopping has really kind of bitten into that, but people are looking for experiences both in terms of their life and in terms of what they buy.
What about the participating brands? Because luxury items have been doing very well in China. But if you talk about this city walk, it seems like you're able to stumble into these local stores that really add so much flavor and so much color to a neighborhood.
Absolutely, and China. I just wish people were coming in China. If you come to Beijing on the weekends, the cities streets are filled with young people just walking in groups. There's a lot of selfie taking and things like this, but there's been a tremendous amount of work done on scaling up the livable environment. For instance, they have this river walk here in Beijing, which has been and it's been put into effect basically throughout China, where it is really pleasant now to walk within the city's tree-shaded sidewalks, walking by the river, and lots of things to do. Smaller restaurants, catering to people who want to experience something. So yeah, it's really different, and it is definitely being driven by younger people who aren't spending as much, but they're spending in more variety of ways.
Okay, and what about the live streaming component to online shopping? How is that affecting the young and the old in China?
Well, first off, it's an opportunity. I mean, I hear so many people. I say, well, what do you do? Oh, I'm an online streamer. It's been very successful. And here's the irony. You know, you do have these huge entities, you know, Alibaba, et cetera, Tencent, and they did very, very well. But, you know, who's their big competition apart from themselves? Live streamers. That segment has been rapidly escalating. People, you know, they like this kind of one-to-one situation where they feel they know this person, they understand what their aesthetic is, and they're more willing to buy from them because they see them as somebody, an influencer, somebody who can give them an insight on what's cool these days.
And to add something to that, when I was back there in March, I remember walking through a market and we went to ask somebody a question, and she was actually doing live streaming, so she couldn't answer our question because she was dealing with so many people out there. So that definitely goes on. But just describe China's current retail landscape, the high points and the low points, because clearly there are sectors that are still struggling.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's the high end. Like you saw tremendous amounts of especially phones sold at the beginning. It was up 500% at one point versus the previous year, but it kind of tailed off. People were very much attracted by discounts, so you're not seeing a real huge price increase. In fact, it's down. Now, the May numbers for retail were up 3.7%. That's good. As I said, this over the last 5 months. 4.1% increase in sales. But inflation, very, very low. It's 0.3%. Experiential sales are up, and there was a lot of action, especially anything like Hanfu clothes, which is this kind of mixture of, it's basically Chinese styles, but they've been adapted, using Western techniques and sewing, things like this, and styling. That's done very well. Agricultural seeds, Apple, Midea, Haier, and Xiaomi all exceeded 100 million yuan within a very, very, very short period of time, and that momentum has continued. But it does seem that people are still very conservative. They want deals if they're going to buy, or they want something very interesting. So there is still some weakness there, but overall, you saw a very, very nice increase in terms of retail sales. What were at 3.7% versus 2.3% in April. But industrial production was down, only 5.6% versus 6.7% in April. People will be continuing to watch that in terms of a trend line. So, go ahead.
No, that's good. Just wanted to wrap it up and hear your final thought.
Okay. Final thought is China's doing very well. The tallies are still out. Housing is still an issue. Uncertainty generated by a lot of international issues is still out there. But there's a really quiet confidence that is beginning to build. They understand they can do it by themselves.
Okay. Einar Tangen, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you so much.
All right. My pleasure.